What I'm very pleased to be able to confirm is that from 6 p.m. Friday the 18th, so tomorrow, density limits in hospitality and entertainment venues will be gone. So those density limits that have applied, that were put in place because of the Omicron and the sheer number of cases that we had, they go. QR check-in requirements will be removed for retail venues, schools, including childhood and early childhood education, so for employees and in many other workplaces. So in very basic terms, where the vaccinated economy is still on and it remains in place with a 2-dose rule, so to go to a restaurant or a pub, you will need to check in. If you're going to the supermarket where you don't have to be vaccinated, you will not have to check in. That is sensible. That is what we're announcing today to come into effect from tomorrow. In terms of surveillance testing in a number of key industries, they'll no longer be compulsory. That'll be up to them. Hospital worker bubbles will be removed, but then they can still be used at the discretion of health services. They're in the best position to make those judgments. International arrivals will no longer need to obtain an international arrival permit through Services Victoria, and those coming from overseas, either returning to Australia or coming from overseas, who are not vaccinated, instead of having to do 14 days of quarantine, they'll only have to do 7. Beyond that, there are a whole range of other matters that I know are very important to people, like when will the advice change in relation to returning to the office? When will masks no longer need to be worn inside? The Minister can speak to his intentions, what he aims to achieve, and he and I look forward to being back here before next Friday, confirming those arrangements as well. We can't make those decisions. The Minister can't quite make those decisions yet. We just have to wait and see numbers continue to fall in terms of the number of people in hospitals, or at least if we want the trend to be maintained. But it's our aim to have those rules changed, and the Minister making positive announcements to that end for next Friday. So what I've just run through and what the Minister, Martin, will now speak to is effective from tomorrow, and then hopefully we can go even further than that the following week, have the advice taken off in relation to returning to work, and have some changes to mask rules also. This is exactly what we said we would do. It is very important that we follow the advice. Yes, we are based in science and we're all about safety, but this is what we said we'd do. Push beyond this. As difficult as it's been, normalise it, live with it if you like. That has not been easy in recent months given the sheer volume of cases, and I will take this opportunity. We talk a lot about pressure in our health system, we talk a lot about these issues, but it's always appropriate to thank our nurses, our ambos, our doctors, the whole team who are doing an amazing job. These numbers are falling, but it still is a very significant challenge in our health system, and we're going to keep backing those professionals, those dedicated professionals, to do what they do best, and that is to care for people. But it's important to acknowledge just how challenging it's been these last 2 years, and certainly the last few months, so we're very, very grateful to them. Now, just finally, we are going to extend arrangements in relation to schools, and James will speak to that in just a moment. Getting our kids back in the classroom on day 1 of term 1 was very, very important to me, to parents, to students, to teachers and staff. That's what we've done. It's been a fantastic success, but only through a lot of hard work. And again, I thank teachers and staff, parents and students. Things have had to be done a bit differently, but school's back, and the results are just terrific. It's worked really, really well. We can be positive and optimistic about that, but it's important, I think, to keep that going. So James can speak to that in a moment. So now let's hear from Martin in a bit more detail about what he has determined under the new Act. Then James can speak about what's going to happen in schools for the rest of term 1, and then we're happy to take any questions you have.